Welcome back to It's Your Life, starring Natalie and Nicole. I am Natalie.
I'm Nicole.
And today is Free for All Friday, where we'll be talking to Derrill Stafford. Nicole, what are we talking to him about today?
Today we'll be interviewing Derrill Stafford, who is a DM for DND. Derrill, would you like to tell us what DND stands for?
Well, it's Dungeons and Dragons, and I am known mainly as 2cups there, Jody2cups. That's my tag on Discord is how I usually DM, actually. Yeah.
And what does DM stand for?
DM is Dungeon Master or Game Master, depending on the system that you're using. I mainly do DM and D&D, but I do Game Master and other games as well. It's actually kind of fun.
So how did you become a DM? What ranks did you have to climb in order to get to be a DM?
That's the beautiful thing about Dungeons and Dragons. You don't have to climb any ranks or anything like that. You just have to have the willingness and the ability to be creative, to just jump in and do it, And I mean, it's just, hey, you want to have some fun with a group of friends, pick up a starter set and just do it.
So what made you get into Dungeons and Dragons?
I mean, I've been in the Dungeons and Dragons my whole life before I even knew it. It came from like reading a lot of fantasy. A lot of fantasy books come out of the D&D setting because the characters came from D&D tables, and I was reading all about Drizzt, and I knew all about Faerun and all the craziness that's in there, and reading tales about the Waterdeep and all kinds of other stuff. It was just that, and then video games as well, just living in the world before I stumbled into tabletop role playing later on in life.
So I've seen that Dungeons and Dragons has been out since 1974 and is played worldwide. You can play at a round table with friends, but you're able to play online. So where do you go to play online? Like, what's the platform you go to play online?
Discord. I'm mainly on Discord there. You can find a lot of games on Discord servers, but there are all kinds of different ways to do it. Just look for a LFP page that's looking for players, you know what I'm saying? And you just go from there.
So is Discord just like it's a website?
It's an app.
Oh, okay.
App and website.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very fun. You can just roll your dice in the app and everything. Everybody sees everything. It's a neat way to do it, especially with the big Rona in the room.
Yeah.
We can't go out and play like that. I had just found a local table right before all this happened, and I was looking forward to getting out there and rolling some dice for real.
Mm-hmm.
But then everything kind of shut down. So, I found Discord, and actually I found Discord before, and I just kind of doubled down.
Okay.
Do you think that when you are able to go out and play, that Discord has helped you, like, I don't want to say build your confidence, but build you up to where when you do go out and play in person that you'll be better?
I don't know. Yeah, because I'm just better as a player and a DM just from doing it, It's just, the thing I like about Discord, it's, I don't know, because my first time actually playing in a live setting was almost turned me away from D&D. That's why I have some, but it was.
What happened in your first live setting?
D&D, I believe, is supposed to be all inclusive. Like, hey, this is what you want to do. Do it. I have built a character highly driven off of the lore. The DM said that there was a plague that was out there that would just make people randomly kill people. And I like making interesting characters, so I picked up on that and immediately made that one of my character flaws. that I was infected in the plague, like most of the civilization was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's bound to be at least one of the player characters who was infected. No other player character was, so I was like, I'll be, you know, and he was like, okay, you're in this barn talking to this dude, and he was saying all this stuff, and I was listening to him. It made sense. I was like, okay, yeah. And then he said a horse kicked, and that spooked my character.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with the lust, like the bloodlust is what it was called. The thing about the bloodlust is like when you lose that, it just kind of snaps in and you instantly want to, you know, attack.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, roll the D100. He did. It got the high percentage. There's a high percent chance that I fail. I got to roll low to not snap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had set this up with him before. Like, and then he was like, no, you don't do that. And I was like, wait.
That's not what you said before. Yeah, that's not what you said before.
You know, and it was like, I almost didn't play D&D again after that. I am so glad I continued though.
Right.
But yeah, but unfortunately that is a thing in D&D sometimes. Some, you know, older heads just like into
they know, yeah,
and they just
they know what they're doing and don't want to let someone else.
Yeah.
So you have to have a vivid imagination playing D&D.
I mean, yes and no. You know, you can be an active part of painting the world, or you can be a bystander and just live in it. You know, it's up to you, really.
Okay. What's your most favorite character that you've done?
I've been looking forward to this question. Because I mean, whenever you talk about D&D, you always have to ask this question, and it's two characters that really have touched my heart for two entirely different reasons, and that would be Viashar and Serenity.
I remember Serenity.
I don't know Serenity.
Well, if you'd like to know Serenity,
Okay.
it's Serenity and Cole.
Serenity who?
And Cole.
Okay.
And Serenity was the representation of my wife in D&D form. It was one of my it was like when I first came into the server, they was like, you can make two characters. And I was like, okay, I want me and my wife, you know. And Serenity was an amazing character. She's retired now, but it's for a different reason. Though I'd rather just look. But yeah, Serenity. She even was a manager of a mine. Believe it or not, she managed a mine and like got that in game.
Okay. Yeah. So who's your least favorite character? If there's any.
There is actually.
Okay.
Well, as a yeah, I mean, there was as a DM, because there are two types of characters. You got player characters and got NPCs that the DM control, like the non-playable characters or the DMPCs, you know. But yeah, it was this one who was I had said, send me some ideas. You know, and I was like, the crazier, you know, the better. I'll do it. I'm just challenging myself as a DM, and I just put it out there for the server. And one of the ones I got back, one of the ideas I got back was a bipolar dragon rapist.
Oh, wow. Okay, right. That just went completely left.
Right.
It started went completely left. Oh, well, all right then.
But no, it was, and that was an interesting challenge for me as a DM. And it was interesting watching him die too. I'm not gonna lie. Like the players killed him, like they did, and I tried to drop every clue, like, please, y'all, don't get this man this dragon.
But they gave it to him anyway.
And they did. They gave him the dragon because they wanted the gold. You know, and that was the challenge, is because I like to challenge myself as a DM, but I also like to challenge the players.
Right.
And it'd be like a challenge that, you know, they wouldn't necessarily think about. Like, are you gonna take that gold? Looking at this man. He was a very super skinny Goliath who had on dragon scale armor, and he was very twitchy and like, but his moods would change. You know, and he was clearly not stable.
Right.
Like, he was clearly in a manic episode when they met him. You know, and I gave them ample opportunity not to, like, give it to him, but he was paying in platinum. So, yeah, they gave him the dragon. And I don't know.
Have you ever been playing with a group of other players that you was just like, look, I just playing the whole game right now. Like, they just not into it, or they're not giving you any type of feedback.
Or they give you too much, not too much feedback, but pushback.
Yeah.
Like when you try to say one thing there, no, DM, we don't want to do it this way. Let's do it this way. Like someone that's tried to take over. They didn't understand their role in the game. They try to come for your position, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
How do you deal with stuff like that when it happens?
I don't deal with it the best. I'm going to be honest, but as a senior DM in the server, I do have to kind of set an example, and
Right.
it's I don't enjoy it.
So you say as a senior DM, so other people can see what, you know, how y'all game is going, and then let's say if it's going bad, then will that can anyone ever drop rank basically? Like, you know.
I believe D&D is supposed to be all inclusive. If you don't enjoy your spot at the table, you should be able to just leave.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it should even come to that. Out of character, it should never come to like any, I'm mad at you, so now all this, you know, it shouldn't come to that. You know, but it is a pain, and when it does happen, and it's kind of hard there, especially when death is involved for a player. That cannot end that well. But I try not to deal with that. I try to make sure that there's not like gonna happen by looking at who's in the DM team, because there are those types of DMs out there, and players out there as well, who as a DM will try to, you know, tell you, basically micromanage or micro DM the DM, and it's
It's almost like a job.
Have you made any like long-lasting friendships while playing this game?
Oh yes,
You know?
yeah.
Do you communicate with them outside of D&D?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got one of my homies, one of my big homies. Like we've been friends since, dang, how long it's been? It's been a minute. It's been some years.
That's a great thing though, because it takes it out of the fantasy world, since that's what D&D is, and it comes into reality. That's good. I mean,
and it's been love the whole time, like for real, like on like some brotherly like type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was down, my homie King Corey, he sent me some headphones because I ain't have none because I broke mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, I'm DMing and stuff, you know. He could hear me DMing still on my phone because I had that old phone and it would echo sometimes. So.
Don't you know it? Hello. What you doing? Roll. Die. You're like, hello, I don't think what's in there. Who else is in here? Stop it. It's supposed to be one person.
But yeah, you know, and I got some headphones, and it was
And you got a friendship out of it. I mean, this is
like we even planning a trip to Vegas, and I'm actually kind of happy I got that. Don't look at me like you ain't know. You know what I mean? Did I not ask you? You want to come? Huh?
You did.
Okay then.
So, what advice would you give someone who's just starting out to get into D&D?
Have fun. Have fun. Don't look at this as something to stress you out. I have seen it. Just have fun with it. Mm-hmm. Have fun.
Do you like playing D&D with your family?
Oh my God, I love it. Some of my favorite experiences, man. Okay, I mean, I remember our session. It was kind of interesting.
Somebody went a little dark. Somebody went a little dark there,
But I've seen some of his other characters too, like Jonathan. Jonathan had a kind of crazy dark arc as well. Mm-hmm. But it was very interesting, and I know my barbarian who was running beside Jonathan had a kind of crazy arc too. But it was very.
What can your family do to, like, when you're playing with your family? What can they do to be more engaging? Like, what advice would you give to them? I know you said have fun, but for those of them who...
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Like, for a family that's never done it before,
Yeah.
only but one family member has played D&D, and we noticed that, you know what, this is something that this family member enjoys, so we want to get into it ourselves. We want to do this for them. We want to go into their world because they're always they're always doing stuff that we want to do. So let's do something that they want to do. So what advice would you say, like, because even though you say have fun, when you don't know how to play something like D&D, it gets to be, I don't want to say overwhelming, but it's always constant in your mind that, oh, maybe I'm going to do the wrong thing. Maybe I'm saying the wrong thing. Yeah. Maybe what I'm saying is stupid or dumb. Yeah. So it kind of pulls you away from it. So what would you say to a person who's never played D&D, don't know anything about rolling the dice, don't know anything about the different tiers and the different levels of D&D? What would you advice you give to that person? Like, how should they start?
You should start just by learning your character. Mm-hmm. Just learn your character. That's it. Like,
so is your character anybody that you want to be? Do they have to have, like, do all characters have to have a superpower or a kryptonite? Like, what advice? Or can it just be a normal person? Just
yes, you can have Mr. Jim Bob Jones.
That's Jim Bob Jones, though. This is Jim Bob Jones for me. Hey, Jim Bob. Now, it's really somebody out there named Jim Bob. Jim Bob, we just want to say hello.
Nice to meet you, Jim Bob. Thank you for joining us today.
Okay.
But no, just go with it. Just go with it. You know?
So what do you want to tell the world out there about D&D? What do you want to say?
It's so much to say. D&D is fun. It's a brilliant way to have a creative night full of laughs, and it could get. And if you like stories, you can just craft whatever world you want with it. It's all out there. You can be out fighting goblins, or you can be out, say, can I tell a story real quick?
Sure.
Okay. One of my favorite games as a DM was a character there. he was transitioning,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and just to
Transition to one?
well, yeah,
Okay.
you know, yeah. And he was a trans character. He was making an openly trans character,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a roll of the dice there with an encounter table, and came across an interest in it. It was just a social encounter, and I developed a character, little Susie. There, she was in her early 20s,
Mm-hmm.
but she was, you know, a little what? I'm trying to find the best way to say it, but she had mental deficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
Her intelligence score was about her intelligence score was a 6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was, you know, but she had lost her handler in town, and he found her. He stumbled across her, and he calmed her down. She was sitting there, just, you know, she was lost, and he went dress shopping with her, and it was so, just, I don't know. It's just, and then he found her handler for her, and it was just, it was just a, and I might not be saying that PC like correctly, you know, with like handler and stuff. I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm just saying, you know, it was the most beautiful game I've ever seen. You know, it was just, I don't know. I was just glad to be a part of that. You know, and that type of stuff is D&D can be fighting dragons and all kinds of, but D&D is just stories, and it doesn't matter what kind of story it is. They're all great. Well, and that's what I got to say.
Right. Well, we thank Derrill for coming on to It's Your Life, and I hope that we have him again soon, and maybe when we do have him again soon, we can have a D&D game, so he can show our viewers what comes into being a DM, so they can see him officiate a game. So hopefully that happens soon. So I'm Nicole.
And I'm Natalie.
And this is It's Your Life. Have a good day.